And you're watching Game On. Survey, I interrupted you and we went for the break. You were talking something about the universe boss, his excellence, his excitement, his importance, his impact within the West Indies team.
I'm not forgetting that he's playing with a championship team. They're still champions.
Yeah.
They're still, until they exit this particular competition, they should be given the respect because of champions. They're still champions.
No, I personally feel that
they are defending champions.
No, but they still have the chance. They still have the chance if
that's
they
why
win
they're playing. That's why they'll be playing today.
Yeah. So,
Viv, you remember the other day? Pretend this is a straw. Now clutch at it.
I try.
Clutch the straw.
I try.
You're right. They're still champions.
They're still champions.
They're still champions. But on a serious note, do you think that leaving out Chris Gayle at this stage of the tournament may well not be that helpful to the West Indies team?
Well, what I know for sure, with the universe boss being in the team, they're expecting big things from him.
Yeah.
And I think if he plays today, here's an opportunity for him to do that.
Okay.
And if he can play a magnificent innings, if he is in the team and get his help to get his team home, well, it creates the confidence for the rest individuals, you know, who are in the team. But that's why they brought him on tour.
Yeah.
Because of the things that he would have accomplished in the past. And I, for some reason, just believe that he may have still just one or two good punches left in him.
Okay.
Yeah. But if he plays, and it's an extraordinary thing to be saying things like, if Chris Gayle plays. But admittedly, time, it takes its toll. He's 42?
Yeah, 42.
I mean, it's extraordinary how he's kept his career going this far. But if he plays, and he comes in at number 3 again, who is South Africa going to bowl to him? Nortje for one, if they can, because he's got that extra pace. Rabada, another one, because he's a very good and sharp bowler. And if they've run out of overs, Ngidi maybe as well. So they're going to look at him with pace, aren't they? Because if you throw spin up at Chris,
but David, to be fair to Chris Gayle, we are talking about him at the age of 42.
Yeah.
But even about 10 years ago, what he used to do in the tournaments is like play one mind-boggling innings, and then there was a lean patch for the next couple of matches, and then one big one, boom, like he did it in 2015.
Well, yeah, players like that can win you matches.
Yeah.
I mean, you look down most teams. You look down the 11.
Yeah.
And you realise that you want as many people as possible to contribute.
Yeah.
But there are only 2 or 3 who can change matches on a regular basis single-handedly.
Yeah.
And obviously in this tournament, we've already discussed, and we will discuss again, the leg spinners, the mystery bowlers who can pick up wickets like yesterday. Afghanistan picked up 10 wickets in no time. So those are the special players. But in terms of the batting, yes, there are some fantastic players around. There's some great players around across the globe, across the world. But there are just a few who can play the sort of innings that just rips an attack apart in the space of 5 or 6 overs and changes the game.
All right. So if we could see the South African team, we have discussed West Indies. Now we have to see the South African squad. This Tamba Buama, Aaqib is quite fond of his captaincy at least. He showed that he's improving. And then Aiden Makrab, their main man. David Miller, surprisingly, is not in the best of forms. And then Russell Anderson, obviously their star. And then we have Reza Hendricks likely to play today. Wayne Mulder, he was left out as Dwayne Pretorius was preferred in the first game. Then Quentin de Kock, Onrek Klassen again. The questionable inclusion, we may well not see him playing today. Kagiso Rabada, Lungi Ngidi, Onrek Nokia, Tabriz Shamsi, Keshav Miraj, and Brian Fortune. So they have a pretty decent, Aaqib, a pretty decent team.
Yeah, they have. I like their bowling.
Yeah.
Batting is okay, but I'm not agreeing with the captain. Why is the captain?
Okay. No, this is a very sensitive topic.
No, this is a national team.
No, but
and
this is
watching World Cup.
But they have
the same problem with West Indian selection committee selection.
Yeah. No.
I mean, look.
Aaqib.
Why? I mean, look.
Not
how do you justify the people who play all around in the national team when it's come to the big occasion? All these guys who roaming around in the world, in the league, ignoring national interests, ignoring national team, and getting into the side. Why?
Okay. Now, this is a question which he may well be able to answer about the West Indies, but as far as South Africa is concerned, it's a little tricky because they have a government policy. They have to have a quota of coloured players included in the lineup, which at times
but the
leave
leader,
their team
the
imbalanced.
captain, the captain,
what
they
happened?
have to pick the best
But
player.
what happened? A.B. de Villiers left at a wrong time, and then Faf du Plessis, they thought, that was not being able to evolve as a leader. South Africa.
Okay, you think there is no one better player in the South African
they
team
thought-
to be a captain?
But they thought Temba Bavuma had that leadership instinct.
Okay.
Yeah,
and see.
And probably some politics at the backdrop.
So that's what I'm talking
No,
about.
but that's the government.
We wanted,
That's not the
we
cricket
wanted
board.
to see a cricket. We don't want to see the reflection of politics on the
David,
screen.
you want to add something in this? Temba Bavuma, he's not really fond of him.
It's not
Right.
that I'm not.
Looking at the right, we don't know. Okay, one thing I'll say is this: we don't know what happens inside that dressing room.
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't have evidence
Yeah.
of what Temba Bavuma says in the dressing room when they've just lost to Australia.
Yeah.
Whether he gets them round, whether he inspires them, whether he says a lot, whether he says a little, that's just hidden from us. And that is where a lot of the work of captaincy is done. All we see is the stuff on the field where, in a tight game, they nearly managed to turn it round. But what any captain wants and needs is performances from his players. But on the captaincy alone, the only other guy really in that team, maybe who's got the status to captain because of his status, is Quinton de Kock.
Yeah.
But he's tried that, didn't like it much, I don't think. You know, he's not a natural
Failed
leader.
quite miserably.
Yeah, I mean, but again, you can fail as a captain because your team fails you.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about the leaders that get something more out of an average team, that's always a good story. You know, anyone, not quite true, but you know, it's much easier to lead a very strong team because your players will just do it almost without you. When you've got an average team or a team that needs to make up those 5-10%, then leadership becomes important. And you know, he's relatively new to it.
Yeah.
And what you want to do, of course, as a captain, one of the key things for yourself is to try and lead by example. So his 12 the other day, you know, okay, the only guy who got runs was Markham, 40. So he would have said, and the management would have said to them, look, okay, we know what we got wrong. It was a tricky pitch, I thought it did enough to encourage Australia's bowlers, but they needed to put some more runs on the board. So between them, each player takes responsibility. So you go, Bavuma, de Kock, Van der Dussen, Markham, Klaassen if he plays, Miller, yeah. There are people there who can make enough runs to keep you in the game, but if they fail you, you're struggling.
But David, I may well agree with Aaqib as far as Temba Bavuma's place in the team is concerned, that he's not the prettiest or the best T20 international
but
players. So it leaves the team imbalanced somehow. So
Yeah,
you're including a captain.
There are worse players in that team.
And one question about the leadership before I get to Sana. That West Indies in the 1970s, they had Clive Lloyd, who was winning test matches and one international with flashing regularity. He won 2 World Cups as a captain. But then his inheritor was Sir Vivian Richards, and he ended up with quite a phenomenal test match record as a captain, 24 wins out of, I think, 32.
Never won any World Cups, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you never won any.
Never in World Cups.
1983, Clive was still the captain. 1987, you were the captain, but Salim Jafar and Abdul Qadir, the late Abdul Qadir at Lahore.
And there's a little bit of naughtiness went on there
Yeah,
with Salim Jaffa.
Yeah.
Backing up too far.
yeah, and Courtney Walsh didn't.
And that I think was a marvelous gesture from
Gesture,
Courtney,
yeah,
because I think Courtney came to me and he actually said what Salim was doing.
Yeah.
And I said to Courtney, no,
Oh.
just give him a warning, because if you did that, all the great things that you would have accomplished in the past, the cricket world would remember you for just that one stuff. And it's amazing, you know, in terms of the guy backing up and you're running him out. So I said, and Courtney was just quite, and then after that, I looked up and I just saw this ball sailing. And it was Abdul Qadir hitting the same Courtney Walsh for big 6.
Wow.
But you also did that with in Australia in a triangular series with Javed Miandad. He was backing too far away.
But Javed, my good mate, you know. I always love him. He's one of my favorites. I love Javed.
And you were bowling and you didn't like.
I like Javed.
Can we just add to just finishing off the previous conversation?
Yeah.
You mentioned Clive Lloyd
Yeah.
and Viv. Obviously, both of them captaining a very, very good squad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it helps. It certainly makes it slightly easier. But Clive, as Viv knows so well, was brilliant at pulling together And everyone has always said this about Clive, pulling together West Indies. So all those nations,
9 different.
that play football for each other, all those nations come together as West Indies. And there's sometimes a bit of strife, there's sometimes rivalry. But Clive's great thing was bringing them all together. So that became a formidable team and a proper team, which Viv inherited. And Viv's pride, we know, take this. Viv has immense pride in his country, in the Caribbean, and in that team. And that pride showed because he then took on the team. And whereas Clive could be seen sometimes to be a little bit more relaxed, but was still in those velvet gloves, Viv just gave it even more. So, there is immense ability, immense pride, and of course a very good team to captain.
He's good for his race. I remember he refused a check from South Africa for one of the rebel tours. He didn't become the part because he stood up for his race and for his generation.
And one's got to remember as well too, with Mabuma, at this particular stage, that there were some inquiries going on in South Africa, which led to a lot in terms of what went on inside that South African dressing room. So it's a long story.
All right.
It's a long history.
Very long history in terms of. So I don't think we have enough time here for us to get through all that.
What do you mean? on this show we have time.
We might not have.
No, so you want to tell me that I'm not a good host, David?
Not at all, Doc. Not at all. No, I'm not going to tell you that. You're a very, very great host. God.
Well, Sana, I didn't see what David was doing. So let's move on to Pakistan versus New Zealand. A crunch game, and probably the second furious match we can see in this group at least. So New Zealand has quite a formidable team, though Aaqib has written them off. He says they're playing at Sharjah. When I was trying to name Martin Guptill and Kane Williamson and Devon Convoy, and then they have Kyle Jamieson, they have Todd Astle, they have Mitchell Santner, they have Ish Sodhi, they have Tim Southee, they have Trent Bolt, and of course it's a strong team, and Daryl Mitchell is there. So do you really think that probably New Zealand is one of those teams around the world, non-Asian teams, they can adjust very well in Asian conditions, even at UAE?
I think what New Zealand has done really well in the recent years, that they have shown that their range has become bigger, whether the conditions are bouncy, whether the conditions are a bit flatter, they have performed on both levels. And as we were discussing leadership, I think this match we'll be seeing far superior leadership in Kane Williamson also. Babar Azam, it's really heartening to see that a captain is taking his own decisions, and I think that really pleases me because I think it's going to be a very big occasion for Babar Azam also, because the way he led the team against India. Before that he was the captain, but now he's in action, doing it in action.
Do you think it has added more pressure to Babar? Because the benchmark they have set the other night, we are going to ask a bit too much now.
That kind of performance motivates you as well, and sometimes it can bring a bit of fear also that you might not live up to that. But I think this Pakistan team is quite motivated, the way he handled the media after the game, and I really think that this was much needed for Pakistan. And now this clash of leadership, now this is going to be a big match. Both the teams are highly skilled. They have great fast bowlers. They've got great spinners. The batting lineup is really good for both teams. And they have a mix of players where they can accelerate, who can rotate strike, who can build partnerships. So it's going to be a high quality cricket match.
If you could see the New Zealand squad. Yeah. So it is Kane Williamson, one of the best batsmen around in the world cricket. Then we have Martin Guptill, reduced to a T20 international player by now, Devon Convoy, and they have Mark Chapman, Jimmy Neesham, Todd Astle, Daryl Mitchell, Mitchell Santner, Glenn Phillips, Tim Seifert, and Trent Bolt, Lockie Ferguson. So they may have to drop one of the two, like Trent Bolt or Tim Southee, Kyle Jamieson, Ish Sodhi, and Tim Southee. It's quite a cracking team, Sir Wave.
That's one of the better bowling attacks that you're going to find in this tournament. and I'm a fan of Lucky Ferguson.
Yeah.
I love to see when he let it rip.
He's quite fast.
He's got some pace.
Yeah.
The other guy, Jameson, as well. He's pretty tall, big fella. Hits the deck.
Yeah.
Saudi has been around for quite some time. Trent Bowl, we all know what he's capable of.
Mitchell Sentinel with his slow left arm and
Well, I don't think he even got to go there as yet.
okay.
We still have some gas.
But when you look at the batting side as well, they've got some players there that can hurt you.
Yeah.
They've been given the experience to go around the world and to be in all these different franchises. So they've done well. Martin Gupta at the top of the order, he's pretty solid. When he gets going, he can be as destructive as any.
Yeah.
So it's this New Zealand team should not be taken for granted.
Yeah, exactly. So David, so now before going to David, you listen to Subway. This team you cannot take for granted. This New Zealand team.
Yes, it is. We're talking about pace, bounce,
Yeah.
but we're playing at Sharjah.
But
What we
Kyle
have seen,
Jamieson is 6'6".
what we have seen yesterday, the ball was bouncing like this. And historically, Pakistan versus New Zealand, you were saying they can adjust to any condition.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay. That easily. Because Pakistani players will definitely have an advantage playing on sluggish, slow, low pitches.
Yeah.
And they have like 4 spinning options. Imad would be the key player in this match.
Okay.
Opening the inning with a slow, low pitch. His 4 overs, I think.
But he's generally bowls only 2 overs.
No, it should be finished his 4 overs at the top.
Okay.
Okay, and then when it's come to their spinners, Sodi and Santana, I think Pakistan middle order with Shoaib, Hafiz is solid. Experience enough to tackle, see what's coming. So Pakistan team has more maturity,
More experience.
tackling the difficult situations.
Okay.
New Zealand side is like...
So you are not giving any chance to New Zealand?
It should not.
So, David, we already know the result of the match, so there's no point discussing further.
Well,
But
okay,
one thing,
take a break then.
well,
No, right. Going back a little bit again, when you mentioned Babar Azam and possible pressure, having set the bar so high first game, which would you prefer? To have set the bar high like that, or to have lost badly?
Yeah.
That's
set the
pressure.
bar
Losing badly is pressure.
Yeah.
Winning well is a relief and a really good place to start from when you go to your next game. But being aware that it won't always be that easy is also very, very important. But I think Aaqib's points are very strong because that Pakistani batting lineup isn't going to be frightened of Santner, isn't going to be frightened of Ish Sodi.
Astral or Sodi,
All these, they're good. They're good bowlers. Of course they are. They're international bowlers. But in relative terms, Pakistan will have the edge. So let's not say it's a vast gulf. They'll have the edge. And in this game, mostly you just need to win by enough to win a game.
Yeah.
So having the edge, having the advantage in various departments, I think he's right in saying that, absolutely.
Yeah, and sir, one thing, the other day, David also mentioned that now New Zealand, they were supposed to play 5 T20 internationals in Pakistan. And probably they missed that too because that was a build-up to this World Cup. And just prior to the start of the match in Rawalpindi, the first game, they just aborted the tour based on a fake email and went away. You think
Can I ask, sir, I'm interested, where did that email come from?
from India, eventually they got to know, and it was routed through Singapore.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now they found out. They got the script. So do you think that Pakistan may well, at the backdrop, they may well be a little incensed, and this may also give them some purchase going into this match? Well, because they were hurt. I know the boys, they were hurt. They were already all set to play, and suddenly they find out that the team has flown back. And Kane Williamson also yesterday, in one of the messages on social media, admitted to the fact that it was an absurd decision to actually discontinue the tour.
Well, to be fair, I do not believe that the captain himself, Williamson, did whatever he said there then. But whatever decision was made earlier with them not going, it should not have any effect with the fact that Pakistan is going to be looking at the New Zealand team in itself, saying, "Oh, you're the one maybe responsible for us. Don't come." But it won't be that. It would most certainly be a professional outfit looking to get a professional job done. If you know that you have certain advantages, Aaqib spoke about playing a charger, the lowness of the track, and we know what New Zealand brings. So there are some advantages for Pakistan. Having the experience, same as we saw yesterday with Afghanistan, who would have beat Charger would have been their home base, and certainly they looked like someone who really enjoyed, a team that enjoy playing in those conditions. Let's see what whether Pakistan can accomplish the same today as well.
I mean, there are two levels. One is the traditional, professional, look at the opposition, decide how to beat them level. But anything you can add to that, any added incentive, is another 2, 3, 4, 5%. So the fact they can say, Pakistan can say, right, we now also, it'd be nice just to prove that had we played those games, we'd have beaten them. And you have one chance, not 5. There's an important game for that. So that's just another incentive. And I see nothing wrong with that.
All right.
Because every sportsman in the world looks for something to motivate him.
Yeah.
And if it's your basic personal pride, national pride, your competition, a World T20, a little bit of politics, anything that makes you want to play better is a good thing for
It
you
has
as
to
an
be
individual.
something more than just a game.
Because I've always looked at sport in itself, and I've used this analogy over the years, that it is the best wars to be fought. Sporting wars. Because at the end of the day, the team that loses, you're going to have some bruised egos. So best wars. No one's going to die. But at the end of the day, it's about bruised egos and stuff like that. And this is why we all play. When we win, it's a much better feeling.
Well, coming from him, like it's more than the game. It reminds me of 1992 Old Trafford Manchester Test. He was on his first tour to England, and he just rammed into umpire Ken Palmer on handing over his sweater, and then argued, and then fought with him. There was a verbal war going on, and then Javed Miandad had to intervene, and instead of being motivated to actually take him away, he also started instigating.
And somebody else came for the rescue.
Javed, he would love an occasion like that. Because Javed is one of these individuals, he defends his teammates. And if it's one thing I always say about Javed, I've never seen, as an outsider looking in on his work, he's one of these individuals who wears his heart on his sleeves, He's just, his country, Pakistan,
passion
comes
for the
first.
nation.
He's very passionate, and I've always admired him for that.
So true. And probably David has, if you want to say a word or two on Javed Miandad and his rivalry and his, any anecdote which you can correlate.
When we were in Abu Dhabi, there was an anniversary. It was a birthday, I think. It was Miandad's birthday. And they asked us to put out messages, which you do happily. We have immense respect, I think, around the world for Javed, for the amount of runs he made. He was an extraordinary player, and good against pace, good against spin. I've seen him play for instance, in England, on green pitches where it's bouncing as well and seaming, and he's played like a master. So he had an extraordinary ability. That competitive streak was very, very evident. You could call him a street fighter, actually.
That was his original,
which isn't an insult. For some people that might be an insult, but actually it's a testament to his fighting spirit, to his competitiveness, to his national pride, personal pride. I have to say I can't agree with this siding, even with this lovely gentleman here, Aaqib, against an umpire. That's we do try.
He had a bit of fire in him,
I'm not.
I say for whatever little I saw.
I'm not denying. I'm not criticising the fire, but I am sort of saying gently and politely that umpires have a role to play, and you have to respect an umpire, whether he's got it right or wrong. So whatever the provocation, you just have to treat umpires with a little bit of respect. So we'll talk about this later.
I got you in trouble.
No, it's fine. But I'm actually saying, okay, fine. Whatever the provocation, captain's role, I would say, if I was captain in that role, and I had it with both of them a couple of times, I'd take both of them away So I'd have taken Aaqib away, excuse me, Kenny, yeah, excuse me, sir, take him away, quiet word. You say in his ear, okay, I understand, you've got a point, but just control yourself.
We'll
we
talk
need
later.
We'll talk later. We need to get you to bowl as best you can. We don't want emotion, we want your skill. And you apologise to Kenny, keep him sweet, keep the umpire happy. And again, you can talk to him later if you have an issue. Best thing for captains to do is to talk to the guy in the pavilion at the end of the day. So that would have been my style in those situations. I was just saying, I've done it with both of them. Who once had a guy called Alan Whitehead called him for a no ball. And he said, but I've never bowled a no ball. Come this way. There you go. And the problem was actually, this is a Trent Bridge test match against Australia. And he just got, I think, Greg Ritchie caught at third man. Brilliant diving catch by Phil Edmonds, who'd sort of come in, dived, better than that catch on the boundary the other day. And he was standing there with his arm out. So Ian is livid because he says, I don't burn novels, and it should have been a wicket, and come this way. Off you go, try again. So there are ways of doing this.
If I'm not wrong, Ken Palmer also represented England in Test match cricket on tour to South Africa.
Could have done, yeah.
A right-arm fast bowler. Yeah.
I think he was a Somerset, played a long time for
see,
Somerset.
A lot of trouble down at Somerset.
Joel Garner, Ian Botham,
Viv Richards.
Viv Richards.
Fiery stuff down there. It's the stuff they drink in Taunton.
Guys, it's a place where folks live who wears their heart on their sleeves.
All right.
And every now and again,
But he was mentioning...
a glass of cider.
All right.
Scampi.
Just the cider. Okay.
Glass of cider.
The cider you're talking about.
Okay, if you could see the Pakistan team, the squad. So it's Babar Azam, our captain, and then Fakhr Zaman, Haider Ali, unlikely to play, Asif Ali, Muhammad Hafiz, Shoaib Malik, Shadab Khan, Ahmad Wasim, Muhammad Nawaz, Muhammad Wasim Jr., Muhammad Rizwan, Sarfraz Ahmed, Shaheen Afridi, Hassan Ali, and Haris Rauf. Probably unlikely to change the way
They did not announce the 12th squad this time, right?
They didn't.
Yeah, I don't think so. They need to change anything in that lineup for New Zealand.
Yeah. So, you think any change? No. There's no change required in the Pakistan team. Winning combination, going great.
Would you do that?
No, I won't.
I mean, look, even any team like South Africa or West Indies, why would they change? Same venue, almost.
Yeah.
For West Indies, same venue.
Yeah.
They played the best team in the first game.
But not the best of cricket.
So what? I mean, this is what they have, the best. So how can you change a guy on one mistake?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be any change.
Okay. Done. So,
For
we are
West
safe.
West Indies, I would disagree, but for the rest, it might be.
It means because they picked the wrong team.
Yeah.
Wrong team.
Yeah. Probably retrospect.
And
They need a
and
retrospective.
they realized in 3 years.
No, but they need a retrospective view as well.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
They do that.
Well, you're allowed to change things,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
The golden rule is you change things for the better.
Yeah.
At least in your mind you do. Obviously, you have to wait for the result to see if it was better. But you have to be confident in your mind that you're improving your team.
No. If you could see the head-to-head before we wrap it up. And it's head-to-head T20s, 24 matches. New Zealand won 10, Pakistan won 14. So we have a better record against New Zealand, but this is overall. And then 5 matches they have played in the World Cups. New Zealand has won 2, Pakistan 3. So New Zealand, they have been coming hard on Pakistan in the competitions. So it's a start, which may not be relevant.
Well, I mean, they're both good teams.
Yeah, very good team.
They're both good teams. It should be one of the better matches
All right.
of the tournament, and it's a crucial game. It's always a crucial game. Yes, it's a cliche, but they're all important games.
Yeah. And if you could see Trent Bolt, this is only exclusively for you.
Okay.
If you can see some glimpses. So, this is Trent Bolt. Aaqib, you have to say something?
Yeah, but
It's not Sharjah.
it's not Sharjah.
And Sana, it's not Sharjah.
I mean, look,
But
Bolt-
these kinds of lines and lengths are going to trouble any batter at any conditions.
Bolt is class bowler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
But again, he's a swing bowler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Sharjah, there won't be any
Must swing.
swing. But he can create trouble with his length.
You
But
can bowl these Yorkers.
in Sharjah, they had to adjust his length. It shouldn't be up.
But Aaqib, he bowls up and at an impenetrable length.
It
So
depends for the. It's about the atmosphere. It's about the pitch. In Sharjah, the best length would be slightly short of good length,
yeah.
and then because you're gonna stay low.
So you want to say that
into the wicket,
pitch on the
into
hard
the
length.
wicket,
Yeah.
into the wicket. More of use the cutters.
Yeah. So David,
But I mean, you've got the interesting matchup, or not the matchup as such, because it's bowler versus bowler, but Shah Afridi, Trent Bolt, two left armers, those opening couple of overs, both of them have the one chance to see the ball swing.
Yeah.
And to get the ball to swing, you need to push surely a little bit further up.
Further up.
So, the way...
First few.
yeah,
First
yeah.
few.
So then you're right. Then you come
Yeah.
back a little bit when the ball gets, when it stops swinging.
Yeah.
But those first 12 balls from Trent Bolt, from Shah Afridi,
Yeah,
it'll be
it
interesting
has
to
to.
compare
Yeah.
what they do.
Similar.
okay.
Similar.
So your teams
Yeah.
for the day: West Indies or South Africa?
Okay. I'm sorry. I think South Africa are the more likely winners.
So, and Pakistan, New Zealand.
Well, I think Pakistan are on a roll. I think Pakistan are looking really good.
Okay.
Should be a good game, but I'd fancy Pakistan in these conditions.
Yeah. So
I'm going with the maroon
West Indies
all the way,
and
also
Pakistan or New Zealand.
as I said, I do not know the New Zealanders as well as I know the Pakistanis.
Okay.
And because of my relationship with the Pakistanis and the way they would have played the other day, certainly I'm in their corner.
Okay. Pakistan, obviously it's Pakistan versus New Zealand, and South Africa or West Indies. Okay. Okay.
Love it, love it.
So it's West
You
Indies.
don't have to say anything. I mean, look, the amount of the hitters they have.
Yeah.
If they find like
A good surface.
good service, they can hit miles.
Okay.
So I think I have just a little bit
Gut feeling,
gut
gut feeling,
feeling.
yeah.
They'll come good.
I love that feeling.
West Indies or South Africa?
The way South Africa played, I think they looked very professional. But I would also want the defending champions to come up and show the game. So I'd also go for West
David?
Indies.
You're left alone.
And of course Pakistan,
Say it again. Who are you going for?
the West Indies.
Okay, that's fine. I don't mind. I can cope. I can cope.
Okay, okay.
I've had these odds before. It's fine.
And obviously Pakistan,
Of
right?
course Pakistan.
I personally feel New Zealand, Pakistan, it will be anyone's match because they are not going to let it go very easily. New Zealanders, yes, Pakistan has been dominating.
You will have two winners at the end of the game.
Yeah, two winners at the end of the game. Yeah, two winners. One
You
for,
have to pick one.
one a good loser.
Which one?
My gut feeling is that Pakistan will prevail today. And West Indies, to all intents and purpose, statistically, analytically, South Africa should be able to win this match quite convincingly, but I'm going with Sir Will. I want to support West Indies.
You want to,
Forward.
you're sympathetic towards West
No,
Indies.
no, I love it.
Yeah, Viv, he's taken pity. It's
No, sir.
It's not supporting.
It's not a great.
No, I have loved,
You do not convince me enough.
sir,
I need some convincing, man.
sir, I have loved the way West Indians they play. That's it. So I want to back them up.
But it's like you're saying, for some reason it's going to go wrong. My professional views tell me that something's going to go wrong. But at the other end of the day, I would love to see West Indies come through.
No. Okay, I'm supporting West Indies. So David, sorry for leaving you
No
alone
worries,
in
that's
the corner.
absolutely fine.
Without being convinced.
Yeah, without being convinced. Thank you very much, David. It's always a pleasure to have you in the studio. So it's really a learning curve when we sit next to you. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much, Paji. You are not going anywhere. You'll be with us in Punjabi also. Okay. Thank you, Sana.
Thank you.
And I think you should also shift to Urdu. No?
No, I'm very happy with one session.
Okay. Always good to see you in the studios. And we'll take a break and we'll be back with our Urdu team comprising Aaqib Javed, Azam Mahmood, Umar Gul, and last but not the least, Rashid Latif. Game on!